Gays for Trump. Twinks for Trump. Why many gay men are voting for Trump. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and although I am not personally voting for Trump because he is not the man I want to be president, being that I was a Sanders supporter and I have a long list of things that worry me about him, I want to make it abundantly clear to people that I perfectly well understand why so many people are choosing to cast their ballots towards Donald, or as his gay supporters call him increasingly, Daddy. Obviously, considering gay Trump supporter Lucian Wintrick's New York City event, which was supposed to be the first conservative art show in the US, lost its venue today due to a bunch of angry queer protesters that sent threats and all of that, a gay guy with half a brain apparently needs to spell it out to these dimwits, so I guess I get to be that guy. Gay white men, in particular, have several reasons to vote for Trump, but I am guessing the one thing they all have in common is that they feel like the regressive left's foot soldiers, the fourth wave intersectional feminist SJWs, have both turned on gay white men in numerous ways, but I'm guessing they also are concerned that the left is seemingly refusing to protect them against a sincere threat to every LGBTQ person in the West, which is Islamic extremism. SJWs claim that white gay men are no longer an oppressed minority, like all the time, and then feminists and Clinton supporters fall all over themselves to defend Islam while denying that the violence that comes from Islamic extremists might be a possible danger to come from immigrants and refugees. However, there can only be so many Orlandos and Nice attacks that can happen before people start to figure out that this is something to be worried about. Now, granted, feminists should probably be afraid of Islamic immigration too, because I am not guessing that Islamic extremists will be particularly fond of Tumblr lesbians. But you see, fourth wave feminists are already brainwashed, so it is easy to just continue giving them the Kool-Aid because they think Hillary is gonna be elected and everything will be okay, or something, because they get to be teachers' pets right now of culture. Gay men, especially white gay men, however, are not so lucky. For the past few years, all we have heard from feminists and a lot of LGBTQ media is hate and criticisms, almost unanimously based around exaggerations or blatant lies about us. First, they called gay white men racist for not dating enough black and Asian men, which I think is a stretch personally, but is at least true. Gay white men mostly date white and Latino guys, and everybody knows that. And I will even go so far as to admit that gay white men might be kinda or totally racist sometimes. Still, there is a bit of nuance around this one because if you talk to a bunch of black and Asian gay guys, it will turn out that a lot of them prefer to date white men as well. So, well, I'm not so sure what that says, but it's complicated. Regardless, the criticisms of white gay men's racial dating preferences have been a constant onslaught in media. Next, they started to say that gay men needed to work on this supposed epidemic of misogyny within the gay community, which was where things started to get downright fishy, no pun intended. I've made whole videos about this, so if you want to know my full stance, you can watch them, but this was always based on rumor mill exaggeration and downright lies that were spread by fourth wave feminist media conglomerations. It started out with just a few rumors about women being unwelcome in gay male spaces and gay guys being kind of rude to women at gay bars or whatever, which isn't entirely untrue because there are certain spaces that do have unspoken rules that keep them mostly for gay men. Women are not welcome in some gay male spaces. Because without those spaces, it can be hard for guys to date or hook up, and nobody should complain too much about that. Gay guys don't go into lesbian spaces, so get over it. But it didn't end there. They started saying that gay men frequently sexually assault and even rape women, and that they are getting away with it because they are gay or something, which is just a blatant fabrication and distortion of reality. And every gay man who isn't brainwashed knows this. I've said it before, and I will say it as many times as I need to. 9 times out of 10, or even 99 times out of 100 times, gay men do not touch women. They touch us. I cannot count all the times I have had my ass slapped by a woman at a gay bar, and I almost never really care. Because I like that gay bars are sexually playful places and I want them to stay that way. But now feminists are complaining about that casually touchy environment all of a sudden over the past few years, even though I have literally never heard a woman complain about this as some legitimate problem until this rumor found its way onto feminist blogs. I truthfully just don't believe that women are being touched non-consensually by gay men in a legitimately violating way more than a minuscule amount of times. I think this is a deliberate smear against the gay community, and if it did happen, I would have a problem with it. I just don't believe it does. You see, feminists lie kind of a lot. I have a whole video about that too. And they especially lie on the internet in text where nobody consents in their voice if they are fibbing. For example, when I brought this up to a former friend of mine who was complaining about it as a result of a blogger talking about this gay male sexual assault, she told me that she once had her boobs groped repeatedly by a gay guy at a party and she asked him to stop over and over until finally she had to knee him in the balls. Can anybody actually imagine such a scenario? Why wouldn't a gay guy just stop? What psycho-ass gay guy keeps grabbing a woman's boobs until she has to knee him in the balls? Come on. It sounded like it was from a movie to me, so I said, well, I'm glad you need that asshole if he really did that, but I suspect you are just making that up. Did she even respond to me? No, she didn't say anything. So I will assume I guessed correctly. Point being, don't believe the hype. Gay men almost never touch women, and they certainly don't touch women when they don't want to be touched. But truthfully, a lot of the time, women wish that we would touch them. They ask us to slap their asses and stuff all the time at gay bars. Trust me, it's true. If a woman tells you that a gay man ever slapped their ass or something without their consent and it was triggering, ask them what happened prior to the incident. And if you know the guy and she said that it was this one specific guy, why don't you ask him for his side of the story? And 9 times out of 10, she was already getting frisky with the dude. I've had this conversation. She usually is just saying, oh, this guy touched me. And then you talk to the guy and he's like, yeah, well, you touch me all the time. Being a victim is in fashion if you are a feminist right now. So they have every reason to lie about this. Please don't let them. Finally, the feminists complaining about gay men just got kind of wacky eventually. They'll say that gay men are even more misogynistic than straight men, which everybody who has ever met a gay man knows isn't true. And then they'll say also that homophobia against gay men is rooted in misogyny, which is also untrue and downright homophobic if you really break it down. At this point, I just think it's funny because if all homophobia is rooted in misogyny and gay men are even more misogynistic than straight men, that would mean that gay men are even more homophobic than straight men. It makes no sense, but trust me, they say this shit. If you don't believe me, and I know several of you will think that I'm full of shit, I want you to go find some feminist article talking about the LGBTQ community and ask them what they think of white gay men in the comment section. It won't be hard to find several feminists complaining about all of these things and saying that gay white men are the worst perpetrators of every complaint. That all said, all Republicans had to do was show the slightest bit of legitimate empathy for the struggles of gay white men, and then validate their legitimate fears of Islamic extremism, and voila, you have a bunch of gay male Trump voters that are mostly white. The Republican Party held an entire gay event at the RNC. Twinks for Trump is the thing, and a big Republican politician came out of the closet as gay during a speech during the convention. Gay white men are voting for Trump not just because they are privileged, racist, misogynist assholes. And if you think that, you are precisely the real reason why they are voting for Trump. It's not just because Milo Yiannopoulos and Lucien Wintrick are pretty cute. It's because of the things that these guys actually say about the left. In terms of feminists turning against gay men and that Trump will help defend us all from Islam. You see, if you treat a horse like shit long enough and starve it, all somebody has to do is dangle the smallest carrot in front of its face and it will come over to your side. And that is precisely what the Republican Party has done for gay men. If this makes you angry, well, I could have warned you about this a few years ago, but you probably have me blocked on social media. Do you agree with my analysis? Let me know in the comments, drop me a like, and stay tuned.